Hello, welcome to the FanDuel Punch-Out. I'm Big Italy 42. He's Chris Farruckas at Space Jam 23 DFS. Talking about tonight's slate of action on FanDuel and some good pitchers on the mound, but not many that are in really good spots. Biggest favorite on the night is Garrett Richards, $9,000 against Arizona at home. Richards been fairly consistent recently outside of the one start against the Yankees, but what hasn't been there is the strikeout rate. He's got a couple starts with just a few strikeouts. 19.8% is less than what you are expecting out of him this season. But a 55.2% ground ball rate. Got to make him one of the best per dollar plays tonight on the board.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. The one interesting, I just noticed this. We talked before the podcast. I didn't even see this before. Chris Tillman is a minus 225 favorite?
Yep.
Really?
9-run total, though.
9-run total, but, I mean, 225, how many of those runs are actually being accounted for on Baltimore side? If even money was in, it's basically 4.2 to 4.2. So, yeah, Chris Tillman is, I think he's in play tonight for 4 FanDuel points.
Yeah, I mean, that huge favorite, certainly. And, I mean, he's a guy who hasn't been great, but, hasn't been terrible recently, I guess. And at $6,500, you can certainly consider him. Because, I mean, if you get yourself 10 total fantasy points out of him, then you'll be happy. So, I think he's in play.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think we got to think about it. So, Chris Tillman, at that price range, minus 225 total. Obviously, he's the biggest favorite on the board by far. He's got a Clayton Kershaw-type favorite with an 8.5 total. If he can go 5 innings, get you four strikeouts, maybe an earned run. I mean, he's over double digits on a slate where your elite pitchers are tough. And, I mean, he's giving you the bats you want.
Yeah.
I think I would consider him. I think you have to.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to put up some runs in support of him tonight, too. So you got to like that. Obviously, big total. Jerome Williams on the other side. Yeah, they're going to get some run support. So as long as he's just adequate, I think he'll be fine. You got guys like Matt Harvey, got crushed in his last start, now gets the toughest matchup against the hottest offense in the game right now. So I'm not saying I'm not going to play him. I'll certainly play him in GPPs, but I don't think I can pay 10-4 for him tonight off that bad start in cash games.
Yeah, I just think it's I don't think it's a question. I mean, he struggled last start out. People are concerned. Is he the one that's got dead arm? I keep hearing everyone talk about.
Yep.
I mean, and that happens.
It's a legitimate concern after seeing that last game.
He was bad. He wasn't bad. He was throwing batting practice though. Yeah. Like he just had zero velocity. And I mean, who else do we really have tonight? Jose Quintana. I know he's a dog, but you and I both like him against Pittsburgh and Charlie Morton. I think that's an interesting line. I think if we're going to see one line movement a ton, it opened at minus 160. It's down to minus 140. I could see that even going further, so it's nearly a pick 'em. Quintana is definitely on board, and we said it, Scott Copeland, minus 135 to minus 145 dog, depending on what site you look at, and he's going against Matt Harvey. So let's give the guy some leeway right now. I mean, Scott Copeland versus Matt Harvey. Of course, Harvey's going to be a favorite, but it's a 7 total.
Yep.
So I don't mind him at all. I don't think either.
No, and at $5,500, I mean, yeah, he is opposing Matt Harvey, but he's also going against that terrible Mets offense. So one of the worst in the game against right-handed pitching. So I think he's certainly a viable, cheap option because a lot of these other guys in tough matchups. I mean, Arrieta against all those lefties at Wrigley is going to be tough. Same thing for Trevor Bauer on the opposite side. So those guys will be tough. I think if you're paying up, Garrett Richards and Quintana are going to be your guys, and then. Yeah, like you said, I don't mind Copeland at all down cheap. But the middle guys, I'm not touching really any of them outside of Tillman because he's such a big favorite.
This has the same feel of a couple nights ago when nobody knew what pitcher to take.
Yep, and Richards was on that slate too.
Yeah, it was. And all the pitchers scored like -5.
Yep. Yeah, it was rough. I mean, it was that night I played Alex Colome, and he got pulled after giving up a home run to Mike Trout after pitching great. And he was at like 78 pitches, I think.
Who went off that night?
Well, Richards came back from a bad start and ended up doing
he got so lucky to get the win.
Yeah. Yeah,
they played
with 16. So, yeah. I mean, he's certainly in play. Probably the best situation out of the expensive guys there. All right, catcher. Next up, not really playing Russell Martin against Matt Harvey. That's going to be a tough one. Travis d'Arnaud, if he's in the lineup tonight, he was not in the lineup last night, but $3,200. I think he's an awesome tournament option. He's been hitting the ball really well since he came back, so you're certainly considering him. Of course, Matt Wieters homered again last night. Got 2 homers already since coming back, $3,100. He's probably your top option dollar for dollar tonight.
It's close.
There's
one guy that's cheaper than him by 200 that I would consider in Texas, Yasmani Grandal, who's 2.9K. It's close. It's real close between those two because I think I prefer the offense of the Dodgers versus Gonzalez, but I think Baltimore as a matchup is in a little bit of a better spot. So it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot closer than people are giving it credit for. You know who I like tonight? My sneaky play if he's in the lineup?
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Robinson Chirinos.
What?
Robinson Chirinos.
No. Tucker,
right.
Your boy Tuck.
Oh, Tucker Barnhart?
I don't mind him, man. At 2.3K against Kyle Ryan.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm a switch hitter.
9-run total, 2.3K. I mean, I prefer him over probably James McCann. It's close, and I'm not going to play like Ionetta Ruiz or like Corporon or any of those guys. So I don't mind Tucker Barnhart tonight.
Yeah, not at all. I do like Jonathan Lucroy. He's got a nice lineup spot, 2,500. He's a nice play, and then Chirinos, of course, in tournaments. But outside of that, no other catchers I'm really looking at. But yeah, Barnhart's going to be your punt tonight for sure. First base, you said it earlier.
Getting Miggy
I was on
with
last
it.
night. Yeah, getting Miggy with it. Get yourself some Miggy tonight against Michael Lorenzen. I mean, Miguel Cabrera might actually physically eat him tonight. Like it's going to be an ugly matchup. Cabrera took advantage of a rookie last night. He's going to take advantage of a rookie again tonight. Got a nice big time price jump too. He was 4,800 last night. Now he's 53. So he's certainly in play there. And then below that, you get Anthony Rizzo against Trevor Bauer. We'll see what kind of Trevor Bauer we get tonight. Rizzo's struggled over his last couple starts, but 4,200 is a great price for him at Wrigley Field against a wild at times pitcher in Trevor Bauer.
If you're playing Wieters, you're playing Chris Davis at 3.3K. That's a sweet price tag. I got burned by him last night. I mean, not burned. He just didn't have a good game. I think he's in a good spot. Fine. Adam, Mr. Lind, good spot. Lucas Duda, good spot. There's a lot of guys that are just like, I'm in a good spot tonight, but they all cost the same. Like Duda, Adrian Gonzalez, Chris Davis, all cost the same. Lind is a little bit cheaper. Votto's a little bit more expensive, and Miggy's super expensive. So first base, there's a plethora of options tonight.
Yep. I'm throwing Albert Pujols in that mix too. He's on fire right now. 4K gets the Hell Dog Jeremy Hellickson. Not going to be much of a battle there. Hellickson's terrible. I want to pick on him as much as I possibly can tonight.
You want a contrarian option? Take Paul Goldschmidt against Garrett Richards because nobody can get him out.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is on another level right now. He's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, his last 5 games, he has 13 hits. In those last 5 games, 2 home runs. I mean, the guy's incredible. Yeah, definitely get him in.
How many hits in his last 2 games?
13 in his last 4.
Oh.
Or, sorry, 13 in his last 5.
Oh, that's a lot worse.
I mean, that poor guy. Only 13 hits in 5 games. Second base now. Who's your top option? Who you got?
Come on. Jimmy, not parading, but we're paradis. Mr.
Yep.
Jimmy. I mean, you got to love Jimbo the Jimmy. I mean, how can't you love him tonight? Also, somebody who's a little bit too cheap. He's actually min salary. He was hit. There was some statistic you gave about he's getting unlucky and all sorts of stuff. And that's old man Utley at 2.2K. That's too cheap for him against Chris Tillman in Baltimore. 8.5 run total. I think that's a great tag for him.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. I'll certainly be playing him more than I would be playing Mr. Robinson Cano, who's been around a similar price recently, because I just think that...
Don't say his name to me. I'm never playing him again. He's on my blacklist.
Yep. Yeah, he's dead to me as well. Nah, I'm just not a fan.
Hey, Ian Kinsler, go.
I don't like paying Ian Kinsler's price tag. He's a guy you like to play, But, I mean, he's more of a cash game play for me because he just doesn't have upside. He doesn't have power anymore. He's an awesome cash game play. Because, I mean, he gets on base, he scores runs. They're going to score runs tonight, but he's not a guy I'd ever play in GPPs because he just doesn't have any upside.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want upside, Jason Kipnis against Jake Arrieta, not going to love the matchup, of course, or the price, but we know that Kipnis has been hitting everyone in the entire world right now, so you're certainly considering him. And I love D. Gordon as a cash game play again, $3,100.
Me too.
Yep. And then I'll throw out Brandon Phillips also.
Yeah, okay. I can get down with B. Phillips. I mean, I don't mind him. But D. Gordon, man, $100 more against a righty. You know, whenever he's a righty's on the mound, throw me some D.
Throw some D's on it.
Throw some D's on it.
All right, next up, third base.
Manny Machado.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely Manny Machado. He's on fire right now.
Oh,
and
he gets for dollar.
Pitcher. Yeah, Daryl, he's got to be your cash game play at $3,500 against Jerome Williams. I don't think it's close.
Oh, go give yours a top option easily.
Yeah, I mean it's Todd Frazier against Kyle Ryan, $4,500. Frazier has a ton of power against lefties. Gotta love him. Obviously, Josh Donaldson gets Matt Harvey. If it's the Matt Harvey we saw last time, then maybe Josh Donaldson's your top play. But I think he's a great tournament option for that reason because people look away from him just because it's Matt Harvey. And I'm not saying I think Matt Harvey gets rocked again because I don't. But, I mean, if anyone's going to hit him hard, it's going to be a guy like Josh Donaldson who can crush any pitcher right now. Elsewhere, I'm not playing Joey Gallo lefty-lefty. I mean, you can, but I'm not paying that price. It's so similar to Manny Machado. You can make him a tournament option if you like, but really just not a guy that I'm actively targeting tonight. Another guy who's hitting the ball really well, crush left-handed, or crush righties, actually, through the season, even despite the fact that he hit lefties a lot better in the minors. He has Manny Tomas. If you're going contrarian here against Garrett Richards, I like him at $2,800 for your GPPs tonight.
Yeah, so I've got two options. So actually, I'll give you three. I think A-Rod's in a really good spot tonight. He's 3.2K. I think he's a nice pivot, low owned, can go yard. Maikel Franco, hooking him with Chase Utley gives you a really cheap stack and getting some Philly love in Camden against Tillman. And then finally, the Moose is loose. I love the Royals again tonight in a hitter's park. He's 2.4K. I'd much prefer him over like Nick Castellanos, probably batting like 6th or 7th. So those are my cheapies that I would be considering.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Escobar's min salary still bats third for some ridiculous reason. So he's a fine cash game play, but not a guy with upside. As we move on to shortstop, Jung Ho Kang has been batting cleanup. He's $2,700. Had a nice game last night, a double, 2 hits, couple RBIs. Gotta love him at $2,700. Not paying Jose Reyes ridiculous $4,100 price tag against Harvey. Just not something I'm into tonight. A couple other guys you consider: Elvis Andrus, $2,700 against Brett Anderson. Outside of that, I mean, I'll look at Eric Ibar against Hellickson because he should be leading off. Obviously, gets those big bats behind him. I don't really like anything else.
As short?
Yeah.
My top option is min salary.
Min salary? Oh, J.J. Hardy.
No. Come on. Who do I always play?
Oh, I'm guessing.
Alcides.
Oh, yeah. Alcides, yeah.
I love him tonight again against a righty. Hitter's Park. I love the Royals. I loved them last night. I always take him. When I can't get away from a min salary guy that can swipe a bag with a team behind him that puts the ball in play. I mean, he's not going to drop a 9 or 10 spot for you, but the likelihood of him getting, a walk, a stolen base, and a run scored for 4 is so likely it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it always happens. That's like his stat line. And then he goes 0 for 2 for the rest of the night, so he ends up with 3.5.
Yeah.
Or 3.25. For min salary. I love that. I just love it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, obviously. As we're looking over here at outfield, Bryce Harper came back last night, didn't get a hit. It's first time in 6 games that he didn't get a hit, obviously. $5,600, though. Alex Colome got some splits against lefties that are not exactly pretty this season. You're looking at his numbers are 333 WOBA allowed to lefties. 3 homers so far, but I mean, Bryce Harper can punish anyone. Gotta love him as a great tournament option. And then, of course, Mike Trout. You can play him cash games and GBPs at $5,300. Gets Jeremy Hellickson tonight, and Jeremy Hellickson's awful. I mean, I cannot wait to play Mike Trout against this guy tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Trout is clear as day the top option, I think. I don't think it's very relatively close. Obviously, you mentioned your boy Jock. He's up there. Yasiel Puig is up there as your expensive plays. I think those are, obviously they're not as expensive as Mike Trout, but over 4K or approaching is pretty expensive. So I think those are your top 3 options. I also think that Yoenis Cespedes is in a really good spot tonight, righty, but the guy, I just think he's in a phenomenal spot against Lorenzen. And then also on that same team, Tyler Collins and JD Martinez.
Yep.
They're both in really good spots against Lorenzen. I mean, the Detroit stack is 100% in play. I think it's chalk, but they're really expensive. And I don't think a lot of players are like, oh, yeah, I'm going to play Tyler Collins tonight. But, I mean, he's in a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And another guy who's been kind of flying under the radar despite having, in his last 4 games, 4 hits, 3 hits, 3 hits, 3 hits. Starling Marte at $3,800 tonight against Quintana. I mean, the guy's been hitting the hell out of the ball, putting the ball in play, getting hits, getting on board. And then, of course, as we're talking about Baltimore, Adam Jones, most people flock to him against the lefty, but, I mean, he's fine against righties as well. Jerome Williams, not in a good spot. I expect him to get hit pretty hard tonight. And then, of course, tournament option, Mr. Long Ball himself, Steven Souza, over here, walked 5 times last night. 5. $3,300. The man's starting to get some respect with that big bat, so you certainly got to be considering him tonight as well.
Is his bat as big as Ryan Braun's bat?
Pretty close. I'm not sure what's inside the bat. That might be a little bit different than Ryan Braun's. But
yeah, no. I agree with you. I think one other option that we haven't mentioned, in a pretty good spot. You know who I'm going to say?
No.
I think he's going to be low owned because of his total, because of his opposing pitcher, all those fun things. But it's Andrew McCutchen at 4.5K. Is super contrarian, but he's a righty-lefty matchup. He's locked in, playing at home. I think he makes for a sweet contrarian option tonight.
Yeah, and if Delman Young's in the lineup tonight, men's salary, another guy to pick on Jerome Williams with, should be batting 2nd or 5th, I'd anticipate. So, all right, with that's going to wrap things up. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out all of our content at dailyfantasycafe.com.